Pound cake right now would be inappropriate. But eating an entire Sara Lee pound cake snack wouldn't.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
Nothing's more dangerous than being alone with an entire Sara Lee chocolate cake. So we're introducing our snack-size cake. That way, it's only a little bit dangerous.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
It's Broadway's smash hit musical, Melissa Manchester and Andrew Lloyd Webber's Song and Dance. Talk about your winning combinations. The musical sensation that takes off for the sky and never looks back. It's high fashion and high leaps. It's Song and Dance, and you're gonna love it.
At the Forest Theater, call now 1-800-233-3123. That's 1-800-233-3123.
Probably the thing that would describe bounce to me would be outdoors.
It smells like snow when it's just falling and you're in it. Bounces clean, fresh.
When you wake up in the morning and there's dew on the ground and you smell that smell, that's what bounce is.
Outdoor fresh bounce.
Yeah.
I think it smells like the blue sky.
Yeah, I think it's...
Eileen, I think it's time Michael and I had a little talk about the birds and the bees. I think it's time I told it to him like it is.
Okay.
I think it's time I set the kids straight.
Great.
What the heck do I say to him?
To who?
To you.
About what?
The birds and the bees.
I'll handle this, Daddy. You see, Michael...
Wait a minute. How do you know about the birds and the bees?
National Geographic.
The one about the primitive tribes?
Uh-huh.
I love that one.
Where'd you get it?
It was in your sock drawer next to the deck of cards from the Orient.
Jerry, where's the dog?
Playing solitaire.
4C, the official breadcrumb of the Davis family.
In 1952, the United States enshrined its greatest treasures, pieces of parchment taught in children's classrooms and defended in country courtrooms. The Constitution. It has held the promise of liberty with these words: "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Celebrating a Constitution for the people, I'm Jim Gardner.
AccuWeather told us today we would not have to endure a hard driving rain throughout the entire day, but it has started to shower as the parade kicks off in Philadelphia. Let's check now with Action News reporter Karen Friedman live at 4th and Chestnut to see how things are going there. Karen, what's the rain situation?
Well, Jim, it may be raining and we may be getting a little bit wet, but you know what? It has not dampened the spirit of this parade. Take a look at all of the people. You will see sort of a sea of umbrellas, but I've just been standing around talking to the crowd. You know what they said? Hey, we got here at 7 o'clock this morning. We have no intention of going home. We'll stay here all day, and we'll stay even if it pours. So I think that is actually good news. The parade, as you know, is in full swing, and the people really seem to be enjoying themselves. A lot of folks here took great pride in dressing in red, white, and blue, and a lot of the little children say that they wish they could do this every day instead of going to school. I don't know if their parents are too happy about that, but at any rate, bottom line here, everybody, despite the rain, Jim, having a really good time. And as some of the drums get going and bands, you can hear a little bit further down the road, you can see people clapping their hands and stomping their feet and trying to pretend like it actually is 200 years ago. So we'll let you get back to the parade for right now. I'm Karen Friedman, back to you.
All right, Karen, it's Dave and I, and it is raining, isn't it?
What we had hoped would hold off until a little bit later on today started with just a few raindrops moments ago, and within the past couple of seconds, we have a steady, hard rain here at our location, our vantage point, with complete cloud cover. But these people came early and they're prepared. The umbrellas are up, the rain gear is on, and they're here to see the parade. And the parade's going to go on no matter what the weather does. So we're here and we're set to go. Look at all those umbrellas, Lisa.
Yeah, Jim, you know, more than 1 million people gathered here for the celebration over the Memorial Day weekend. We're expecting almost that many here today. You can see the sea of umbrellas, as Karen mentioned. I don't know, 800,000 people, I think, are expected here today. I can see some empty seats seats on the bleachers lining the parade route, but as Karen mentioned in Old City, the people who came here are still here. I haven't seen even a group, not one person, leave the parade route. So these people are dedicated. They came to see this, and they plan to stay and see it. One thing I might note, there's one or two or several parade floats to look forward to, one of them being the President's Float. Now, that's the one that I have some interest in, and I'm going to watch for, and you might want to watch for. It will be honoring the 40 presidents of the United States and featuring the 40 cadets from the Valley Forge Military Academy, so that ought to be awfully exciting and interesting.
We have a lot of representation right here in the greater Delaware Valley, and we're extremely proud of that because it all did start right here 200 years ago as America begins her 3rd century. So the spirits will not be dampened by this rain. You know, Lisa and I and everybody working on this parade, you've done so much research on the elements, the groups, who's coming, who's not going to be here, and things to look for. And all of a sudden, when you get down here and you sit, despite the fact that, fortunately, we are covered with the canopy that keeps us nice and dry, that's helpful. But you sit here, and all of a sudden, it hits you, the significance of the day, of the history, that, in fact, despite that hard rain, we are part of history. It's happening right now. This is the 200th birthday of our Constitution. And hopefully someday we'll be able to tell our grandchildren that we were there on that particular day. And I wonder what the people thought of that were here 100 years ago, and then, of course, the people on that day 200 years ago when they had that federal procession that told them, hey, we've got a Constitution, we're underway, it's been ratified, we're a new country, and great things are in store. We've come a long way.
It's a unique feeling, Dave, and there are many more parade floats to look forward to. It hasn't quite reached us yet, but as soon as it does, you'll know. Back to you, Jeff.
David and Lisa, the point could be made that during that summer of 1787, it was a very, very hot and very dry summer in Philadelphia, and in fact, the weather often added to the contentiousness of the debate inside Independence Hall. But just prior to the resolution of all the differences of opinion, the weather turned cooler, and some rain came, and perhaps that cooled some of the tempers inside Independence Hall. And so the fact that it's raining today and it's a rather cool day is perhaps most appropriate to the celebration, to the history that we celebrate here today. The parade has now reached Broad and Chestnut in Center City, Philadelphia, just a block or two away from our location. With Dave Roberts and Lisa Thomas-Laurie, we will be rejoining them, and we continue our coverage of We the People 200, Constitution Day, in just a minute.
Taste how pure Deer Park is. It's 100% pure mountain spring water and nothing else but.
That's good water.
What's hotter than a hot potato?
Cool, cool twists.
Hot spuds leave you cold?
Cool off with a corkscrew.
Now there's new salad bar pasta. With our sensational shapes and seasoning mix, you create fresh salads.
With the coolness of buttermilk.
The tang of Italian.
The flavor of cucumber.
New salad bar pasta. 5 cool sensations from Muller's.
They make hot stuff
not so hot.
It's the crust. That's why I can't stop eating the Celeste pizza. But Mama Celeste says, Giuseppe, leave some for other people. Okay, I cut down to 1 slice a day.
Celeste, great pizza from topping to bottom.
I got a dog named Ziggy Zamboni. What he won't do to get a pepperoni. Pepperoni, pepperoni.
Kennel-ration pepperonis. Jerky snack sticks made with real meat.
Pepperoni, pepperoni.
When you've suffered an injury, time is important. You must make some claims within a short period of time, or you may lose the opportunity to collect any money for your loss. Call the Injury Helpline. Discuss your case with an attorney near you for free. One who cares about helping accident victims get the benefits they're entitled to. You'll learn about the costs of pursuing your claim, and you won't be charged any attorney fees unless you receive compensation for your injuries. Call the Injury Helpline now, 800-533-2700.
Your right to disagree is fundamental to liberty and protected by our Constitution. George Mason exercised that right by refusing to sign the Constitution he helped draft. He thought it was incomplete. Most delegates at the convention disagreed, but Mason believed the Constitution didn't protect individual rights from our new government. He argued for a Bill of Rights and took his case to the American people, and the people agreed. The states ratified the Bill of Rights in 1791, adding it to the Constitution as our first 10 amendments right here at Congress Hall. These amendments and others have ensured that we have a Constitution for the people. I'm Jim Gardner. When those delegates came to Philadelphia 200 years ago, their original purpose was not to come up with a whole new document, the Constitution, but in fact to strengthen an old document, the Articles of Confederation. Here is Action News reporter John Rollins.
The war was over, the revolution won, and with the 1780s, the new American citizens settled down to their self-ruled promised land. But it took only a couple of years to see that there was trouble in paradise, that under the Articles of Confederation, the American experiment was heading toward disaster. Hobart Kaywood directs Independence Hall National Park. John Van Horn oversees the city's oldest library, the Library Company of Philadelphia. Both men are historians, and both agreed to give us some idea of the crisis that gripped America 2 centuries ago.
It was almost a disunited state. In a sense, the country was impotent.
Under the Articles of Confederation, rich, fertile America was actually a 13-part weakling. Each state printed its own money. That meant trade was dismal. If a Philadelphian wanted to buy something from Jersey, he had troubles.
What Jersey wanted was hard money, or they wanted to deal in their currency only and not in Pennsylvania currency.
And even if there was a deal, there was a heavy tax.
You'd pay a tariff just like it had come from England or Barbados.
It was the farmers who were hardest hit. With no gold and worthless money, bankruptcy loomed, and in 1787 in Massachusetts, authorities had to violently crush Shays' Rebellion, a group of farmers who had revolted. And according to the historians, it wasn't just the domestic scene that was a shambles.
We were unable to deal with the British, who refused to vacate posts they occupied on the western frontiers. There was a concern that the states would begin to be taken over by foreign powers and would make them colonies again.
America was unraveling. And fortunately for we the people, nationalists, men such as Washington, Franklin, and Madison, backed the Philadelphia Convention of '87. Its outcome was called a miracle, and it is what we celebrate today. John Rollins, Channel 6, Action News.
The elder statesman of the Constitutional Convention was Philadelphia's own Benjamin Franklin. He was 81 years old at the time, but somehow he has managed to stay along long enough to pay Karen Friedman a visit today. And Karen, you have a very distinguished visitor with you right now.
Yes, I was able to snag Ben Franklin from right out in the middle of the parade here. So, Ben, you were saying, is this a lot different than it was 200 years ago, or is it similar?
There seem to be quite a few people here. We didn't have quite so many, and it's raining now. Now, I like a little thunderstorm now and then, but, well, you know, we didn't have that kind of weather for the parade before.
You didn't have umbrellas, or did you?
Well, we did have umbrellas. Jonas Hanway invented them in 1747, and I carried around one in England and over here in America. Wonderful invention, the umbrella.
Now, you say that you really sort of wanted to actually march along for the duration, but you were afraid, being a little bit elderly, that might...
My gout had been acting up, you know, and so I'm not going to march, but I did send out the town criers and start the parade, and it is a grand parade today.
A lot of the people marching through the streets, I imagine you were able to talk to them when they were lining up. What were they saying about Philadelphia?
Well, they really were excited. Many of them have come from all over the country, and they've seen quite a bit of the city here. And they're happy to see that so much of our history is preserved here in Philadelphia, and so well preserved.
Benjamin Franklin, it is an honor and a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for joining us. Back to you.
Karen, we may have a thunder shower or two later this afternoon. It might give Ben an opportunity to rediscover electricity.
I'm sorry, Jim. A tough time hearing you. One more time?
I was just saying if we have a thunder shower or two this afternoon, Ben may have the chance to rediscover electricity.
Jim says if we have a thunder shower this afternoon, you might have a chance to rediscover electricity.
Well, you may see me out there with my kite and the key, but someone else is going to have to hold the string. I've learned my lesson.
Karen, Ben, thank you very much. All right, the parade has now reached our position at the Municipal Services Building in Philadelphia, and let's go now to Dave Roberts and Lisa Thomas-Laurie. David, Lisa?
Well, we can hear the town crier's bells signifying that the parade is reaching our vantage point here on 15th and Arch and then going up the Parkway. The rain continues to be of the steady variety, unfortunately, but the parade goes on. Let it rain in our parade. We're going to have a good time today. Poor Benjamin Franklin. Looked pretty good, Lisa, for 81 years old. Although
Yes, he did.
Karen didn't want to put the umbrella over him.
I was hoping she'd give him a little cover.
Yeah, poor Benjamin.
Didn't seem to mind it, though. You
No.
know, the bands that we're going to be hearing and seeing today are worth mentioning. We're going to see some very large bands, some of them 200 members in total. We're also going to be hearing all varieties of music. We're going to hear from the Dixieland Jazz Band. We're going to be hearing from the Penn State Band. And they continue and continue. We're going to take a quick commercial and come back to you, and perhaps the action will have started at our vantage point.
Citrus Hill Select's big new 96-ounce jug. It sure got a whole lot to love.
Citrus Hill Select gets its freshness from the heart and puts it in a jug, but that's only where we start. It's resealable and shakeable and doesn't make a mess. Your family's gonna love it 'cause it helps the juice stay fresh. Shake, twist, feel for our big 96-ounce jug. Fresh, so much more than more.
I told the missus it was a waste of time to insist on whole fillets. I told the missus other fish companies can make them out of pieces. I told the missus most folks probably can't tell the difference anyway. I can't repeat what the missus told me.
Mrs. Paul's light fillets, made with fillets that are whole and natural, not formed and pressed.
If it's not Mrs. Paul's, throw it back.
Trifari knows how to light up the season with a flash of bangles, a gleam of bows. Trifari knows how to turn on the glamour, step up the drama. Trifari knows how to warm the days and glitter the nights. Trifari knows what goes. Now this Silvertone mirror is yours with any Trifari purchase. Available at Wanamaker's.
We're underway, and let's take a look at our parade as it just about passes our vantage point. We're starting out with a 5-member Continental Color Guard of the U.S. Third Army leading the Grand Federal Procession. Of course, this is the first part of the parade, the Grand Federal Procession, which is recreating what they did years ago. And there we see them moving smartly with a steady rainfall at our vantage point. Look pretty sharp. They look pretty sharp.
Those bells ringing strong, aren't they, Dave?
Mm-hmm. There's a 5-member color guard there. They're officially leading things off, and they pause for a moment. There's been some delays along the way because of the rain and, of course, always the last-minute traffic problems and things of that nature. But we're just about right on schedule, and the town crier is announcing, as they did back 200 years ago, after the Constitution was, of course, ratified, that, in fact, this is what has happened. A new era has begun. That's the way they did it years ago. Of course, today we have the most sophisticated of electronic equipment. And within seconds, we know what's happening all around the world with satellite dishes and so forth.
I don't know about you, Dave, but that's the way we still do it at my home for dinner. I get a bell out.
You got a bell like that? I want to come over to your house for dinner. I want to see who rings the bell. Looks like the first city troop.
All right, the mounted members of a group that participated as a Pennsylvania militia unit in 1788. It's now a National Guard unit parade in 18th century uniform, appropriately. They seem to be doing just fine in those uniforms and headpieces, headgear. horses all lined up. Very grand-looking procession. The mounted members of the National Guard Unit Parade.
At least he's covered. He doesn't need an umbrella with all of that, with the top hat there, and the plumage. Right next to the horsemen there, we have 3 or 4 veterans walking. Indication of present-day situations in fatigue. So we've come a long way from that continental dress to the fatigues of today.
I might mention, Dave, Captain Dennis Boylan is in charge of this group, the National Guard unit. I certainly want to give him credit for a job well done. Captain Dennis Boylan. Here we go with the Army unit, taking its place in the line of march.
The old fife and drum corps. I love to listen to the beat of the drum and the flute. Stepping out smartly. Just like the sun was shining, no problem whatsoever. Talk about precision in the hours and the time that went into rehearsing that and putting it together to make it look as straight and as sharp as it is. The Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. The Army unit takes its place in the line of march, the way they did it back in 1887.
And that music certainly does take you back 200 years ago, doesn't it? Our first float of the parade, Dave.
The wheelwrights. This is a recreation of a float from the Grand Federal Procession of 1788, featuring the wheel and barrel-making equipment of that period. This was quite the occupation. We have costume craftsmen. These people came from colonial Williamsburg, where they operate the machinery. Anyone who's ever visited Williamsburg, you know how impressive that is to take the family there and to see that go for a visit. So our first float, the wheelwrights, designed by Colonial Williamsburg.
Our Sailing Masters Fife and Drum Corps here. This is a nautical group from Center Brook, Connecticut. They are marching in full dress, Navy uniform of the 19th century. The director here is Ted Nelson.
Now the Federalist, that's tough to say, a 15-long replica of a float in 1788, fully rigged with 3 masts on it, 7 sails, sponsored and built by the Maryland Federalist Foundation, a replica. Our second float.
And you can see right behind that float, or you did see for a second there, we'll get right back to them, the brigade of the American Revolution there behind the Federalist float, the Maryland Federalist float, Dave.
This is the largest group yet, Lisa, about 150 men and women together and children in costumes. Members of the Colonial Marching Unit of the Brigade of the American Revolution as they reenact Revolutionary War times. They are prepared for battle. There's much more to come, so let's take a little break. The parade has just begun, and we're going to be here right to the end. Excuse our backs, excuse our fronts. So you stay with us as the rain continues. We're having a good time.
Buy a Eureka vacuum cleaner now and get our exclusive double wire protection. It's protection so sweet, it'll sweep you off your feet. Get a full extra year's coverage. Plus, great savings on all these hard-working Eureka vacuums, but only for a limited time. Get Eureka's double wire protection and get swept off your feet today.
Available at these locations.
It's the crust. The crust! That's why I can't stop eating the Celeste pizza. Mama Celeste has made it even more delicious. It's not too crispy, not too chewy. It's just perfect. Oh, I can't help myself. But Mama says to me, Giuseppe, you should leave some of my Celeste pizza for other people. Okay, I cut down to 1 slice a day.
Celeste, great pizza from topping to bottom.
You're on the go and you don't need menstrual discomfort. A pain reliever like Tylenol, Advil, or Midol 200 will leave the pain behind, but only part of you is ready to go again. You still may have tension and water weight gain. So let's back up and do this right. Take multi-symptom Pamprin with the combination of ingredients recognized to relieve the pain of cramps and monthly tension and water weight gain. Do it right. Take Pamprin. Period relief, not just pain relief.
Dreyfus meets with his advisors.
As I understand it, our strategic aggressive fund can seek profits in both up and down markets.
Excellent. Bravo. I disagree. Using sophisticated trading and hedging techniques, we aim to pursue and protect profits worldwide. Excellent. Can't see it.
Strategic is the next step forward in mutual funds.
Don't like it.
Oh, now I understand. I love it. Dreyfus Strategic for today's markets.
Good morning, Lisa Thomas-Laurie reporting here on 15th and Arch at the site of the Constitution Day Parade with my good friend Dave Roberts, and we're sitting here waiting for the next group of floats and bands and brigades to come through. We've seen 2 floats so far this morning, Dave. The Wheelwrights float, a recreation from the Grand Federal Procession of 1788, the Federalist float, 15-foot-long replica of that float 200 years ago. And I understand next we're going to be seeing the Constitution flag. As you look out here, you see the sea of umbrellas. These are dedicated parade goers.
These are the people, Lisa, that said, we're going to be there come you-know-what or high water, and we're going to be down there in the morning for this Constitution Day celebration. So they came with all their equipment, with the umbrellas, with the rain slickers and so forth. The rain is letting up just a little bit. AccuWeather had indicated to us that it'll be of the off and on type variety, so most of the people are prepared to deal with the elements. That is not going to be a problem. There's a lot of young children here, and I have a feeling that many parents, mothers and fathers, families together, have taken the day off from work or are off from work because of the celebration today, and they're here to be a part of it so that they can say, yeah, we were here, you know, when we celebrated the 200th birthday of the Constitution. Parents talking to each other, explaining, now, this is what they did years ago, and you see those men on horses, and they didn't have automobiles. I think the young people today, the little ones anyway, kind of amazed because they'll look at you and say, gee, Mommy or Daddy, they didn't have television when you were growing up? Some of us didn't have television. Others did. Most of us did, though. The young people did. They didn't have automobiles. They had horses.
Right.
Wow, everybody rode around a horse. How neat that must have been. Looks like this regiment is coming in our direction now, Lisa.
Yes, the 1st American Regiment. It's a 125-member group here, Dave. Recreated marching unit. It represents, of course, the militia of 1788. Craig Nanos is in charge here. We also see some more youngsters and mothers along with this group. You can see over to your left on your screen there. We'll get a closer look at them in just a minute.
That's a representative, well, actually 8 members, I guess, supposed to be there, from a group descended from officers who fought in the American Revolution, the Society of Cincinnati. Those people there. In fact, I assume that they are from Cincinnati because it is the society. Hello, ladies. Welcome to our city. Constitution Day. A little celebration going on here.
The rain has tapered off a little bit.
She doesn't need an umbrella. She's got the hat to cover.
The bonnet, yeah.
Yeah. Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps. They're here. 30-member group. 11 to 18-year-olds from Williamsburg, Virginia. They're dressed in 18th century uniforms. The wooden pipes and rope tension snare and bass drums, bass drums. There they go. All these are authentic costumes, and just to get the authenticity and everything in line and get everybody prepared is quite a deal. It takes a lot of preparation. but they're having a good time. She's got the perfect spot. She has her little revolutionary bonnet on, backpack with baby. And she is set to go. She's going to just march. Part of that revolutionary spirit.
Now that's an idea that's continued today. I had a little harness for my youngsters when they were smaller, Dave. But that's a bonnet. You don't need an umbrella with that bonnet.
Big bonnets. Large umbrellas and big bonnets. The order of the day. Oh, whoa. Cannon going off someplace. I heard it, but I can't see it. Another flag bearer representing still another organization here today. We've got some large gaps in this parade, and understandably so, because of the rain, which just kind of created a lot of problems for a lot of people. You get everybody lined up and start to kick off, and then with the rain coming down. So we're going to have breaks in this as we follow it along the way.
But all things considered, they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, some of the umbrellas are down in that shop that we just had. The rains have just about let up, so that heavy rainfall of about 5 or 8 minutes is what they have. There you can see the people without the umbrellas. They're in the stands. A lady applauding. They're into it.
They're applauding, Dave, because they see our third float of the parade coming up. The blacksmiths, whitesmiths, and nailers. This is actually a working manufactory approaching us here. You can see, I think you can see there, it's drawn by 2 horses.